9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Happy Friday, happy Friday. This is your PR princess, your timeless elite, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me on this Friday edition of WWT. What a week it has been with a lot of wrestlings, thrills, chills, everything else. We do have SmackDown happening. We have the Winter Olympics kicking off tonight as well. So much happening in the world. And obviously we have Super Bowl this weekend. But thankfully, I am not here alone. I always love to have him on WWT Live. If you need anything regarding New Japan, if you need anything regarding TNA, he is the go-to guy, and happy to have Mr. K McCoy in the building.
Happy Friday, Courtney Rice. A lot of things happening with wrestling, the Olympics, Winter Olympics. Somehow, some way between wrestling and the Olympics this week, we're going to find a way to break the ice and talk about a lot of things.
Yes, we're going to talk about a lot of things because it is Friday. And Dylan, just to save you time, we're just going to jump right into SmackDown a little bit, coming to you at the top of the hour tonight at 8 p.m. Obviously, this is going to be the fallout from this year's Royal Rumble. I believe we're going to have a Honey Night SmackDown tonight. I'm not sure, but I want to say yes, but I could be wrong. But we do have a lot of good matches on deck, courtesy of Nick Aldis posting earlier today on socials. We have two familiar foes, Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Tama Tonga one-on-one. Talk about a throwback from the New Japan days. We're also, as Nick Aldis announced, we're going to start our Elimination Chamber qualifying matches. For the men's side, we have Aleister Black taking on Solo Sikoa and Randy Orton in a triple threat match. And we also can't forget about the ladies for the women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. We have the one and only Chelsea Green, the returning Tiffany Stratton, and the hot nonstop known as Lash Legend. We're also going to have an appearance from this year's 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan. Very curious on what's going to bring her into the blue brand. And we also have the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky taking on Julia and Kiana James. All this and more happening at the top of the hour for SmackDown. And Kane, is there a match in particular or a segment that you're interested in tonight's SmackDown?
Holy Bullet Club versus Chaos. I mean, we got Shinsuke Nakamura and Tama Tonga. I believe, in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, this is their first ever one-on-one match will happen in a WWE ring. Of course, we've seen Bullet Club and Chaos fight multiple times in New Japan. But this will be the first time, I think, just one-on-one between those two. Could we see the introduction of Evil tonight? There was rumors that Evil will be leaving New Japan. So that's a possibility maybe to add some spiciness to this between Shinsuke and Tama Tonga. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what happens with this. But it looks like that WWE is really leaning into the 3 a.m. strong style wrestling storylines on SmackDown. Excited to see it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Talk about a throwback. And I do think it's the first time because they've been sneakingly try to make the one-on-one with backstage segments with them appearing each other. Very looking forward to see that. Obviously, of course, looking forward to see the Elimination Chamber qualifying matches because we know for the men's side, Roman Reigns will take on CM Punk. Very curious on how this is going to go and also what brings Liv Morgan to the SmackDown brand because we did see her beat up on Stephanie Baker. Very curious on how this is going to go, but yeah, I'm very curious what Liv Morgan's going to do. Obviously, of course, you want to talk about New Japan and Stardom throwback. How about Julia and Io Sky in the same ring? WWE ring, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, that's going to be huge as well. Like action-packed SmackDown. Listen, SmackDown's 3 hours, and they have to find a way to make that 3 hours kind of roll by quickly. So I expect to see some good wrestling tonight.
Yes, all this and more happening. And like I said, it may be Honey Night SmackDown happening, but we shall see on that. And also, just a little bit of quick news regarding NXT. Kelly Kincaid, if you're kind of familiar with her, she kind of said she was no longer under contract with WWE, but she kind of posted on her post as of February 14th, I will be no longer under contract. She formerly worked in Ring of Honor as an announcer and wrestler under the name Quinn McKay. She joined WWE in February 2022 as the new backstage interviewer for NXT Level Up. And Kincaid and her partner Elton Prince welcomed the child into the world in September of 2024. This is just an ongoing story that's been happening, but Kane, just wanted to get your thoughts on this because she posted this on socials today.
Hey man, shouts to Kelly Kincaid. I remember watching her during the ROH days as Quinn McKay when you had to watch ROH at like 1 a.m. in the morning on your local Sinclair affiliate. Always thought she had it. Always thought she had a presence, a gravitas about her. So happy to see wherever she goes next. Of course, she just had a healthy baby girl a while ago with Elton Prince. Elton Prince, hashtag Elton Strong. Get well soon. So she has a lot that's happening in life. So sometimes you have to take a step back. It doesn't seem that there's any type of ill feelings between the two factions. It's just that, hey, I got a baby girl. I got a husband at home who I need to help nurse as well. It's back from injury. So shouts to her. And I'm sure this isn't the last that we're going to see of Kelly Kincaid in professional wrestling.
I was on mute.
Hey, you was listening to Beyonce earlier. You did the everybody on mute challenge. Everybody on mute.
Oh my God. I was on mute. But anyways, like you said, she had a baby girl. She had to take care of Elton Prince, who had successful surgeries last year. Well, actually this year. But also it's very hard because, a lot can happen. We've seen a lot of shifts happening. Obviously, Ava was not renewing her contract. Obviously, Kelly Kincaid is another one, but never say never. I hope whatever she figures out, we may see her again soon, and do wish her the best of her endeavors.
Yeah, I mean, people forget that Kelly Kincaid also wrestled. So that's why I said I don't think this is the last that we're going to see of her.
I don't think so, but we do wish the best and Kelly Kincaid in her future endeavors. Another story that happened yesterday, even right before TNA aired, TNA and also their parent company, Anthem Wrestling, filed a lawsuit against TNA Hall of Famer Gail Kim. This was actually first broke out by PWIinsider.com's Mike Johnson. And the story breakout, pretty much the lawsuit stems from Kim informing the company that after she was let go in March 2025, she believes she holds legal claims against AWE for violations of the Florida Private Whistleblower Act. What those alleged violations may not be listed in the lawsuit. However, the parent company brought the lawsuit forward as they were alleging that based on the nature of Kim's contract with the company, that all issues between the two should be governed by Tennessee law. And pretty much it kind of goes into the lawsuit stating that the company and Kim entered into a service agreement contract in September 2022 that included talent relations, match productions, and performer services. Kim also agreed to identify and support new revenue, business, and growth opportunity for Anthem. The agreement expired at the end of 2024, at which point the two sides agreed to continue on a month-to-month basis. The lawsuit claims their booking agency for Kim was non-exclusive and that she had the right to provide wrestling and other entertainment services to other customers based on certain limitations, including an agreement not to provide wrestling services to any competitors. But pretty much, this is a long thing that talks about the whole lawsuit, and it's a very long lawsuit. So feel free to check it out on PWIinsider.com's Mike Johnson. But Kane, I just want to get your quick thoughts on this regarding this whole lawsuit that happened yesterday.
I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on TV like Tommaso Ciampa did. But this seems to ultimately, when you go through all the jargon, stems from the fact that TNA is saying that you were never an employee, Gail Kim. You were an independent contractor. Therefore, only employees can be protected by a whistleblower act, not a 1099 independent contractor. That's essentially TNA's argument that you hang from outside the club and you can't even get in, to put it in urban linguistic terms. So we're going to see what happens here. Gail Kim kind of like, put a spoiler out there a little too soon that she hinted that she might sue. So Anthem kind of ended up playing the, offensive and going on first and saying, no. We're not going to take it to Florida. We're going to have it in Tennessee. So that's essentially what this is. That we don't want to have it based on Florida law. It needs to be in Tennessee, and again, you were never an employee or an agent. You were an independent contractor, 1099. Anybody who's ever worked in media knows, like, sometimes you're an employee, like federal employee, taxes and whatnot, or you're an independent contractor and you get that sheet you got to fill out at the end of the year, the 1099. So that's TNA's argument, essentially.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a publicist. I work partly in media, but Jesse Ventura should have did a wrestlers. See, all you had to do was listen to Jesse Ventura. We could have had a wrestlers union, and we wouldn't have to deal with stuff like this.
Hulk Hogan, it's your fault, buddy.
I mean, we could have not deal with stuff like this. But for me, from a publicist perspective, there are many layers because we just got the report and don't know all the facts of it yet. And these are very tricky. Lawsuits can be very, very tricky, especially if it was a wrestling promotion that you worked for, because sometimes it could get very messy. It could get neutral, or it could end on a high note. And there was a lot of things with Gail. And obviously, of course, last year, I mean, she only made like one appearance last year, and that was at GCW Wrestling. By the way, you can check it out, the interview I had with her on our socials, by the way. But that was the only appearance that she had, but she kept very quiet. And also with the fact, too, she did help TNA. There's going to be a lot of ongoing things that are going to happen, but hopefully this gets straightened out with Gail and she could move past this.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Anthem Sports and Entertainment is like based in Toronto. Gail Kim is from Toronto. I hate this Toronto on Toronto, Canada crime. This is why TK's not on today. Like, TK is so just heartbroken. She's like drowning her sorrows at Tim Hortons into her coffee. I mean, this is just bad poutine publishing here that's happening for everybody involved. No, but hopefully they can get it settled. If not, maybe they could find a way to book this in the angle. You'll get the Anthem execs, maybe call back Scott D'Amore or something to do a quick run in to help. And then they could take on Gail Kim and her favorite wrestler, Rio. They could team up together and I'll fight the good fight.
I hope so as well, because Scott D'Amore, another person from TNA. See, you need to listen to Jesse Ventura. It's not too late to start a wrestlers union, by the way. That's why we did it.
I mean, Hulk Hogan can't stop it now, so
it's not too late to start a wrestlers union. I'm just saying.
Hulk Hogan cannot stooge the Vince and tell everybody to try to stop it. So maybe Jesse Ventura, when you're not busy fighting other fights, you can maybe get that established. Wrestlers should be employees, though.
They should.
Because this case is important because no wrestler is an employee, right? Like, all wrestlers are independent contractors. So this could be actually, I know it seems like a small blip because it involves Gail Kim and the internet's mad at Gail Kim at the moment, but she could be on to something just to challenge it. Just to challenge it could be like very helpful in the progression of wrestlers becoming employees and not independent contractors.
Well, hopefully that helps. We go from one female wrestler in Toronto to another female wrestler based in Boston, Mercedes Moné, because even though the last time we saw her, she got cake in the face, but she is coming back aggressively and she did put in some events for March. But we did find out she is set to guest star on Bar Rescue. The series is going to premiere February 22nd on Paramount Network, and Paramount Network put out a press release today talking about the season, which will start on Sunday, February 22nd, and announced the premiere date for the highly anticipated season of their hit reality series hosted by world-renowned bar and hospitality expert John Tapper, marking a major milestone for the network's longest-running unscripted series. And as I mentioned, the new season will premiere with 2 back-to-back episodes on Sunday, February 22nd at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, delivering even bigger rescues, higher stakes, and unforgettable transformations. Not only Mercedes is going to be on it, but also, and this is where it makes my heart because of boy bands, Chris Kirkpatrick of NSYNC will be on it, and they will journey to cities across Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky to help revive lying establishments. And Kay and I just want to get your quick thoughts on this because I know we probably talked about this and TK as well months ago regarding AEW trying to get into mainstream, but just wanted to get your quick thoughts on this, and does this make it a plus for our Miss CEO making television appearances?
Yeah, actually, I believe Sasha Banks has been on Bar Rescue in the past. Her with Naomi, in the middle of kind of everything happening with the Stanford territory. But they really hyped up the fact that Mercedes Moné will be making her debut on Bar Rescue. So I'm really excited to see what happens. Will Mercedes be there with the titles? Will she have 13 buff dudes with her holding her shots to get her Liddy out here? Can't wait to see what happens.
It's going to be very interesting because I know we did talk about AEW stars making television appearances. Obviously, of course, we did see MJF with Happy Gilmore 2. We did see Tony Storm doing Queen of the Ring, and also Swerve. He's taking on a lot of other different things. And also Will Ospreay, he was a part of the Assassin's Creed video game series because they helped out with this entrance at All In.
Yeah.
So I'm happy they are taking a lot of opportunities, especially for Mercedes, because obviously we know the global presence that she has. We know the matches that she can do. And as you mentioned, this is not the first rodeo that she had, but she's alongside Mr. Chris Kirkpatrick, because I did find out she's also into boy bands, by the way. So hopefully she doesn't give my guy Chris a hard time on Bar Rescue.
I mean, if anything happens at the bar, Mercedes and Chris Kirkpatrick could just buy up the bar because she is a CEO, so she can use it as tax write-off.
I mean, that is true.
Smart business lady.
She just got paid, and it's Friday.
Just got paid.
See?
Friday night.
See, that's what I did there. Well, going from Mercedes, another guy who is really doing well, and plus he's also at Super Bowl week, by the way, Mr. Seth Rollins. He actually is there at Super Bowl week, obviously, of course, ahead of the big game, doing work for Good Morning Football while he's healing. But obviously, outside of what's been happening with Gail Kim, a lot of buzz has been happening regarding the aftermath of AJ Styles. And he actually was sat down with Casey Boucher at Super Bowl 60 Radio Row, and he actually talked about AJ Styles as an example of a guy who was a hero of mine that I met that exceeded all my expectations. And then he goes on to say, maybe 18 or 19 years old, I got to wrestle a young AJ Styles on an independent show in Muscatine, Iowa, in a singles match in front of my friends and family. Oh, hold on, hold on. Don't you just love it when you try to do pop-up ads? It just works.
Yeah. We need to get a sponsorship for ad blocker.
It just works. We need to get a sponsorship. But anyways, as Seth talks about it, my friends and family right down the road from me, and the match was wonderful. AJ was a great teacher, a great leader. He beat me that night. The next night, we had another show in Missouri, so we had to drive there. He flew there. I met him there. We were on the same show. We didn't wrestle each other. But afterwards, we went out to a local pizzeria, and he picked up the tab for me. He brought my food and the food of my tag team partner who was there with me. And I was like, oh, can I repay you in a way? And all he told me was, just make sure you pay that forward. That's how you repay me. And that was an example of how to treat people that were coming up underneath you and that respected you. A lot of times you meet your heroes and you could be disappointed by that. AJ Styles is an example of a guy who was a hero of mine that I met that exceeded all my expectations.
Yeah, I mean, shouts to Seth Rollins. Sometimes he wrestles, but most times he's now a sports analyst. I saw him on Sports Center the other day with Hannah Storm, and shouts to Hannah Storm, who watches the product, who asked Seth about his whereabouts this past weekend and whether or not he was in Riyadh or not during the Royal Rumble and who attacked Braun Breaker. Hannah Storm, professional broadcaster. Hat tip to you, mama. But yeah, Seth Rollins, that match he's referring to with AJ Styles happened April 28th, 2006. AJ Styles defeats Tyler Black at NWA No Limits Wrestling. Indeed, at Muscatine Middle School in Muscatine, Iowa. Shouts to Muscatine is where you go to get great beachfront property, clearly. But it's good to hear Seth Rollins talk like this. You know, it's hard to think that Seth Rollins is an OG in the game. Seth Rollins is almost 40 years old. He's been wrestling for damn near 20 years. He's one of the last of the Mohicans, is a guy who, again, wrestled in Nowhereville, wrestled on the Indies, came up through FCW, through NXT, and now to the big show. And Seth Rollins has been the guy in WWE, one of the guys for 10 plus years. So when you hear him talk about a true OG like AJ Styles and saying, no, actually, it's very dope to meet your idols, then that kind of shows you what type of person that AJ Styles is in and outside of the ring.
And I also want to put in there, before we found out today, that AJ Styles holds the distinction of being the only wrestler to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, TNA World Heavyweight Championship, IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and WWE Championship. And kind of really going back to your point, AJ is a guy that likes to pave the way for everyone. And with Seth, it's really nice when you meet your heroes. And Seth is doing kind of the similar thing that AJ's doing. He's opening up a wrestling school. He's really trying to make sure that everything is good in his play, because we know Seth is one of the top stars. I mean, I know Roman Reigns has an aura, that's a level, but you can't forget about what Seth has accomplished and everything that he's done, even though people call him second tier in a way. But he carved his own path, especially even though he's hurt. He's able to get into the media, most specifically sports media with football, because his team is the Chicago Bears. He's been doing a lot with Good Morning Football throughout this whole season. And as I mentioned, he is in California for Super Bowl week. So, and it also just to show you how AJ Styles, because I know people got to see the 10 years of AJ Styles, but you never got to see him when he wrestled in TNA, in New Japan, in NWA, so on and so forth. But AJ Styles is definitely a person that is influential in the wrestling business that many people should not forget about.
Yeah. Also, speaking of AJ, I was watching. I think Final Justice was on yesterday. Not Final Justice. Hard Justice was on. Completely forgot that AJ Styles and Tyson Tomko were once TNA Tag Team Champions. How about that?
Oh my God,
AJ Styles. Tyson Tomko, yeah, what a pull. Christian's Coalition, and Christian was trying to sun AJ Styles and all that with the Angle Alliance. I mean, with Christian's Coalition and the Angle Alliance and all that. I said, man, you know, that was 18, 19 years ago. And we still talking about AJ Styles like in his prime. So, yeah, man. Shouts to AJ. Shouts to Seth. I think we're going to be talking about Seth like that in the future. Everything he's doing with Black and Brave. You see Nathan Frazier, one of his pupils, killing it with Axiom as one half of Fraxium right now. So you're starting to see, you know, Seth Rollins' fingerprints on everything. So even though he tends to burn it down, the fingerprints are still there. Can't burn those down.
You can't burn it. And you know what else you can't burn? The women's wrestling archive that we have at Women's Wrestling Talk. I mean, any support helps. $1, $2, $3. You can support everything and everything in the land of women's wrestling.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches 2026, and it's going to pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might say he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate 1, 5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Wrestling Archive, everything helps. And shout out to our sister Honey in the chat. As you said, Honey Night SmackDown is happening tonight. So if you want to watch SmackDown and you don't want to watch it alone, make sure to go over to Wrestling with Honey so she can give you the rundown of the Blue brand. So buzz. And I do want to leave time for this story because this has been buzzing. You thought Ricochet, because I saw your tagline, Kane. Ricochet has been buzzing. Well, AEW Dynamite. If you watched AEW Dynamite that happened in the main event between Brody King and MJF, Brody King got the victory. But during the match, the whole situation that happened, a lot of people were chanting the situation regarding what's happening with ICE in Minnesota. And the fans in Las Vegas let them have it, which that actually caused a draw the next day. Not just on wrestling, national news, The Independent, NBC. I did hear on Twitter, somebody mentioned AEW fans on CNN that happened. So a lot has been buzzing on Twitter lately. And before I give my thoughts on this, Kane, I'm going to give it to you and just give you your thoughts regarding this, because this has been buzzing a lot outside of the wrestling bubble, heading into mainstream, heading into Twitter. It's just really, and all the stuff that's been happening right now.
Yeah, I was watching this and I heard people screaming out F Ice, and I thought Glacier from WCW came back. I was like, oh my God, Glacier, he's back with the winner and all that. No, you guys don't remember Glacier? Okay, cool. But ultimately, I loved how pretty much Brody King's outside of wrestling pursuits haven't affected his booking. We haven't seen Brody King mention it on AEW television. Yes, he's worn an abolished ICE shirt and whatnot, and we've seen him in the streets doing what he do. But it was just out of nowhere that they started screaming it. And I like how pretty much referee Bryce Wormsberg tweeted how he essentially wanted to wait to ring the bell so they could resonate longer, and everyone just kind of aura farmed, as the kids say, and it was a moment. Wrestlers just like chants. So again, maybe they was just saying they don't approve of WCW's Glacier anymore. No, but ultimately, hearing AEW fans scream F Ice was truly a moment frozen in time. Don't you hit it.
I wasn't gonna hit it. I had my mic in my hand. I wasn't gonna hit it.
Take that, TK.
I wasn't, but I do have a mic in my hand because there is a lot that's happening. When I found out the next day it happened, it was blowing up on political socials, almost everywhere that you could think of, which part of me was like, okay, great that it is for a cause. But this is where it gets very, very dicey. And that's a lot of people know. And I know people call me the PR princess, but that is my day job. This is what I do. And looking at this from a strategic standpoint, it's going to get very messy. We get it with the political climate that's happening. I do give a lot of thanks to AEW, even though I could constructive criticism on a lot of things. Trey Miguel, hello, along with a lot of other things, but I also do have to give acknowledge to them for really putting up everything that's been happening. But I think this is going to be very messy because I do see a lot of political social accounts, and especially if you have not watched wrestling, you have to understand and learn the product, because Kane, we've been watching this since we were kids. Since we were kids, we were teenagers, even now as adults, we live and breathe wrestling and even understand the shitty stuff that's been happening behind the scenes. This is going to get very dicey. This is going to be something their PR team has to really, really touch upon. And especially with the fact, too, if you got mentioned on CNN, on the national news, that's going to be very interesting. And I know I've seen they try to question MJF because MJF is there at Media Week for Super Bowl weekend. And I know they did ask him questions and everything, and he tried to be in character as possible. But this is going to be very interesting and very dicey. And especially with the fact, too, if national and political wants to reach out to wrestling sources, this is no disrespect to Dave Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp, to everything, but some have never entered the arena, and it's very different as you would get with wrestling. So this is going to be something they're going to try to do. And also for any national ones, I am happy to put my 2 cents in it because no disrespect, because we do have a lot of people that do great media work. They understand that they're aware, but this is something that not to be toyed with and learn how to be self-aware. So this is going to be something that's going to be on it in a couple weeks. I'm happy the fans did be in unity, but this is something that's going to be happening consistently. And especially with Brody going in to MJF at Grand Slam Australia, this is going to be an ongoing thing. And hopefully their comms team, PR team gets it right. Even with all the hiccups they had to face throughout the 7 years, this is going to be a hurdle that they're going to have to watch. And it's also a great opportunity to really not just say words, but react and take action in real time. And that's my mic drop from me.
Good mic drop, Courtney. I'm going to have to pick the mic up a little bit and just let's have a discussion about it, because you got to think about this, right?
Yes.
It wasn't the wrestlers screaming it, right?
It was the fans.
It was the fans who were screaming it. People who paid to be there. And, wrestling has a very, very eclectic fan base, more than any other sport in the world. It's one of those things that wrestling is for all. We talk about it with TKO and how they deal with WWE and UFC, which couldn't be more different divide with the fan bases, and how some people are upset that some of the UFC crowd is starting to bleed that mentality over to the WWE fan base. Here in AEW, you got to remember this company from the start. They had a trans woman, Nyla Rose, not only wrestle, but be their women's world champion. Okay? You have the pride of professional wrestling, the 5-tool player, Anthony Bowens, who got "he's gay" chants. If you've never watched professional wrestling before, you might not even known that Nyla Rose was trans until it was brought up. You might not have known that Anthony Bowens was gay until it was screamed out by the fan group. Everyone was like, wait, Nyla's trans or Anthony Bowens is gay for a first-time viewer? And that's going to bring more of a diverse crowd to it, in my opinion. And this just helps to it. So this has kind of been what AEW has been from day one, wrestling for all. An inclusiveness that we haven't really seen tackled in professional wrestling. Protect trans kids sign. We've seen CM Punk be next to it. We've seen Kenny Omega point to it. And I just think that there's a certain refreshment about, we're going to enjoy the storylines and the action we're seeing in the ring, but also there's something reassuring about knowing that you're spending your money for people whose values are pretty much like, hey man, as long as it's not hurting, it's not people, just let people live. And that seems to be the attitude of everybody in AEW. And last and plus not least, the cons got FU money, bro. So if anybody tries anything, the cons could just say, nah, bro, like big bank, take a little bank. We ain't trying to hit none of that.
I also want to throw into Toni Storm is bisexual and she's a women's champion. Speedball Bailey is non-binary.
He's not non-binary. Yep.
Yes, I also want to throw that in as well.
And the crazy part is none of these things are like their gimmicks. Like Speedball Mike Bailey his gimmick is not a non-binary man or non-binary person, a non-binary wrestler. He's somebody who's going to kick your face off. Okay. And he learned how to like do blood sport in a dungeon in Cambodia somewhere. You know, Anthony Bowen's gimmick relates to his baseball pass and that he's a jack dude who could throw you all around the ring. You know, Tony Storm is a classic Hollywood starlet. You know, Nyla Rose is a beast who would beat your ass from pillar to post. So AEW, more than anybody, has the, come at us, bro. Come on. Let's say it with your chest how you really feel about it and see what will happen to you. So it was something very exciting to see. And the crazy part about it is no one is even talking about the fact that Brody King squashed MJF in less than 2 minutes. That was the result of the match.
Really funny.
After all of that.
That was funny. It was like, after all, and it's crazy because if you look at some of the reporting, and this is no disrespect to anybody that reports, especially if you don't know wrestling, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. At least understand the names and at least understand Dynamite. It's AEW Dynamite, not just Dynamite. It's AEW Dynamite on Wednesday. It's just, I'm just a priss when it comes to that kind of stuff. But even when he squashed him, it was great. And for that, I mean, it does bring a lot for Brody because we know Brody's been doing this. This is not the first time it's happened. He did it when they were in Mexico. I mean, they had a shirt on. He understood it. Even Hangman Adam Page spoke in Spanish, with the fact he's a teacher, by the way. He spoke in Spanish. And I know he's under a little bit of fire right now from a certain photo that happened, but he has been supportive and everything that he can. But, you know, I mean, for me, because I love wrestling overall, and even when I do watch alongs for AEW, I just love the wrestlers. I mean, as long as they're a good wrestler and a good person outside the ring, that's great. I was very grateful to meet Anthony Bowens. He's actually one of the sweetest human beings that you will ever meet, but he will kick your ass in a way. And that's not an opinion. That is a fact right there. But just continue, because even though AEW, just like everybody in the wrestling business, has their flaws, they're 7 years old. They still got a lot of work to do, but hey, they're putting the work in.
And look, AEW still getting to the money because it came out that Tony Khan is getting AEW masks for every NFL team.
And he's at Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, like they got like NFL merch. So, I mean, you know, it's about time that a guy that also is involved with the football team, the Jags, has merch for AEW. So NFL licensed merch from AEW with the Lucha masks, amazing. I hope we see it this weekend at the Super Bowl. What would be interesting is whoever wins the Super Bowl, Seahawks, if they have a Lucha mask, but they have a Lucha mask from AEW, but they're holding up one of the WWE NFL titles. That would be interesting to see.
That would be very interesting. The walks. I don't have a crystal ball in my bold predictions, but yes, we have seen Tony Khan. Obviously, he's there for media representing the Jags. We saw two of my people, Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm, are at Super Bowl weekend. They're doing media. They're doing their thing on socials, which I'm happy to see. And I'm sure we'll probably see a lot more AEW stars floating around.
And we saw a little bit of Forbidden Door action, the videos of MJF and Seth Rollins being together right there. And, you know, it's like, but I wonder if Seth is like texting Triple H like, hey, man, I don't know, man. The morale here seems pretty high with these AEW guys. We need to step it up a little bit, you know. But that was a very cool interaction to see with MJF and Seth Rollins. And, you know, I mean, everyone's starting the conversations now. Will we see Max and WWE, or will there be a Tyler Black rise from the Phoenix resurgence in AEW? Let's see. But overall, Court, I cannot explain how good it is to have healthy professional wrestling. The ecosystem is so healthy. Less than 10 years ago, you know, none of this is happening because WWE was just so dominant. You know, there was such a it's such homogenized. But now we have things like this where you see Seth Rollins and MJF and everyone's like, oh, what could be happening? Like, it's just good for wrestling, man. So that's why I just always appreciate what Tony Khan has done. And again, Tony Khan, Shad Khan, these guys got FU money. They money run deep. You got to understand, they own a team in the richest league in the world, which is the NFL. And they also own a team, I think, in top 5. I can't know what number, 2, 3, 4, or 5, but it's top 5 league in the world, which own Fulham in the Premier League. They ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna start Diddy bopping. They ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. So
you meant the diddler?
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, let's retract that. That was AI. Whatever you saw 3 seconds ago was AI. That wasn't.
That's what he's called. That's what he's called now, the diddler.
Exactly. Yeah. No baby oil.
But going back to your point, it's nice and refreshing to see this, because those IWC narcs on social, they always want to make up conspiracies. They always want to say it's tribalism. They're all friends in real life. I mean,
yes, Samoa Joe told y'all that. He was like, Samoa Joe been told y'all any type of tribalism in wrestling is stupid. We homies, bro. We kick it. We hang out.
Friends. They're all friends. They know each other. And you know, the craziest part about it is they met during, as I mentioned, Super Bowl week. Out of all the weeks in media, they met during Super Bowl week. Yeah. So that's a really great opportunity to have. I mean, obviously, we know Seth was doing media. As I mentioned, MJF was doing a lot of interviews. The one thing I just want to say, Tony Khan, please don't have anybody of your AEW stars interview on Barstool ever again. That's the one thing I will say. But other than that, it's nice that MJF is getting a lot of interview opportunities since, you know, he was a champ. It's not his first rodeo, but it's really nice to see them interact with other brands. I mean, we saw when Anthony Bowens interacted, because he was doing a Netflix event and he interacted with Rhea Ripley along with many others on the red carpet. So they all know each other, and it's no like animosity, and everyone gets to eat. So it's not that big of a deal.
Everybody eats, B. Everybody eats, B. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. Like wrestling's in a very healthy place, and we're excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I mean, very curious. I mean, hopefully we do see more interactions with this.
Yeah. Just don't ask MJF about his Instagram comments from like years ago.
Oh dear God.
Or maybe do. Who knows? You know.
Oh dear God. You know somebody's gonna ask. Somebody's gonna probably ask, and they'll probably give like a dipshit answer.
You know what's gonna happen? It's gonna be me. It's gonna be the one. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be me. One day I'm gonna have to meet MJF. I'll be like, hey, look, bro, I gotta ask you, man. The comment. What did you mean by it? Like, were you just young and naive? We're going to chop it up to that, even though you were like 18, 19. Like, you know. I mean, for those who don't know, you can, I think it's still on there. You just have to go back like 500 weeks on MJF's Instagram.
Oh my God.
I don't think he's deleted it, but yeah.
And you do realize you just put a second reference of NSYNC, by the way. This is 2.
I did? What was that one?
It's going to be May.
I did just do that. It's gonna be May. That's right. I just did that.
It's gonna be May.
Hey, man. I've seen NSYNC live. Did I see NSYNC live? Was it Backstreet? Or was it 98 Degrees? It was one of them. Don't dive too much in my dating history to ask why I was at a boy band concert. Anyway.
It's not that. See, I'm a boy band fanatic. It's no shame. It's no shame at all. Yeah. But we do have something else we could share with good news. The forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Athena. If you followed her on socials, we here at Women's Wrestling Talk do want to send a congratulations to her and her wrestling promotion, MPX Wrestling, for producing a successful Ring of Honor MXP Global Wars that happened yesterday. And you can see all the pretty faces that were a part of this event. And also, Athena also posted a photo of Tony Khan with her when she did her thank yous and everything else. But this is a huge, huge deal for her. And just wanted to give congratulations to everybody in that space and know that she's very happy her minion overlords had a successful one. I do want to shout out to her because she's really putting the work in, not just in the ring, but also outside of the ring.
Yeah, man, that you see in front in the yellow jacket, that is the new men's world champion, JD Griffey. He won yesterday. To have your company, to have an indie attached to probably like the holy grail of indies of professional wrestling, ROH, regardless of ownership, it's the brand recognition, and Athena was able to get her company with that. So more crossover promotions, more super shows, and more chances for wrestlers to be exposed to new audiences.
Indeed, by the way, and I was very grateful that I got the chance to ask Athena a question during Media Scrum at Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor in Philadelphia. And I did mention of her inaugural event that she hosted right before and she was so appreciative that somebody mentioned it instead of the obvious questions. But she was very grateful for this event, and I'm very happy it was successful. And hopefully, we do get to see a lot of future shows.
Abaddon's right there. I see Abaddon. She's the women's champion and PX Women's
Mercedes Martinez.
Is that Starboy Charlie?
I think
the black shirt.
And I think Mercedes Martinez is in the photo. But yeah, even with Athena doing everything that she can, it's nice to see wrestlers do stuff like this. And also it's women's wrestling. So obviously we have to talk about it because this is Women's Wrestling Talk. We support all things women's wrestling.
Yes.
But those are my stories that I wrapped up today. But Kane, in the words of Cody Rhodes, is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Man, just everybody have a safe weekend. I know it's a lot of stuff happening right now, but just try to keep your head on a swivel, keep your energy on calm. Go to the gym if you can, hit some weights, get some RRR, some rest and recovery in, and just be of right mind, body, and soul. We got wrestling SmackDown tonight. We got the Olympics just started. Shouts to the United States, the États-Unis. Super Bowls this weekend. Courtney, who's your Super Bowl pick between the Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks?
You already know who I'm gonna pick. I'm picking the Seahawks. I damn sure ain't picking the Patriots.
You don't want to root for your AFC East brethren?
No.
You are a Miami Dolphins fan. You've had to watch the Patriots be really good, be really sucky, and then be really good again, and your Dolphins are still just.
I'm just waiting to watch a playoff win because I never got a chance to witness a playoff win. I've seen them be in the playoffs, but I never got to see them witness a playoff win. But I'm still here. I'm still here as a fan. I'm still here.
Well, one day they might be really flipping good because it's the Dolphins flippers. But other than that, it's gonna be a good weekend. So everybody just be safe and take care of yourself. SmackDown's excited tonight. I know, just to kind of harp back on that, there's actually the Chelsea Green, right? Is going to be in the women's chamber. So Chelsea Green was our pick to win the Royal Rumble. Didn't happen. So I think now she's going to be my pick to win the women's elimination chamber. She's in the match tonight, the qualifier match. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, right? It's going to be her, Tiffany Stratton, and Lash Legend. So those are some tough names. A former champion, Lash Legend had all those eliminations in the Rumble, so she's coming. I mean, that's a pick 'em. But huge. I need Chelsea Green to walk out of WrestleMania as WWE Women's Champion.
Well, hopefully,
or at least involved somehow in it. Right?
Well, she's going to get a lot of support after what Michael Hayes said about her on Real, because that's been floating a lot this past week. So hopefully she does get an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. See, because if the plan is not my girl, Bianca Belair, if she's still not able to braid her hair because of the broken finger, then Chelsea Green has to be the go-to. She's just too over. We need Chelsea Mania. She has all the titles. She still should be U.S. champion, but if you're going to take the U.S. strap off of her, then she needs to be in the main event picture. So we just want more. I don't want them to LA Knight Chelsea Green,
You and many other people, but hopefully Chelsea does good. I mean, hopefully we do get to see her at WrestleMania.
Yeah, she's the greatest North American woman ever. This is how we do her? Come on.
She's from Canada.
I mean, WWE's treating Chelsea Green like TNA's treating Gail Kim. Come on.
Oh boy.
Just because they're Canadians, be better.
Well,
oh, Canada.
yeah, Canada. Well, for me, because it has been a crazy and wild week. Lots of stuff happening. So I hope you guys enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend. We have the Winter Olympics happening. Opening ceremony starts tonight. I'm very excited to watch the Winter Olympics, most specifically figure skating. I will be paying attention to that. But also, we have not only that, the Super Bowl collisions tomorrow. So if you want to continue watching some wrestling, feel free to watch Collision, because next weekend they're going to be in Australia next weekend for Valentine's Day weekend. But just feel free to take some time off. It is okay to take some time off with everything happening. Just sit back, pause. If you can exercise, do some hobbies, get yourself some rest, enjoy everything that's needed, because I know it's a lot of heaviness right now. But we here at Women's Wrestling Talk always want to make sure to give you the best info as possible. And shout out to the entire crew, and always want to support everything related to women's wrestling.
Appreciate you guys.
And with that, Kane, where can the people find you?
Yeah, out here at Kane McCoy. Sometimes I'm at King Ricochet, allegedly. But no.
Allegedly after the stuff he said this past week.
Yeah, good. You know, just we gotta let people how we feel. I'm on Threads, MySpace, Mi Gente, Facebook, Messenger, Black Planet, tagged.com. Remember that website?
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Well,
freaking weird.
People can always find me chirping sporadically on WWT Live. I try to be on as much as I can. Wednesdays, I handle AEW Dynamite for watch-alongs. Who knows? I may be getting a few more people after the main event that happens. So if you want to watch a watch-along, feel free to hang out with me Wednesday night, especially the final Wednesday before Grand Slam Australia. I will let people know next week if I am going to do a watch-along for Grand Slam Australia on Valentine's Day. We shall see on that. But you can also follow me on my socials at CourtneyNJ11 on everything content that I have, especially the buzz that's happening right now. You can get my thoughts in, but I'm cooking a lot of stuff that's happening, not just for Women's Wrestling Talk, but in the worlds of PR. Shout out to everybody from the team of WWT Live. Definitely want to. But thank you all for joining Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Have a great weekend. Be safe and enjoy the...
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.